How you feeling? You good?
I'm good. I'm ready to go. We've already done a full podcast.
Yeah, I know, man. All right, guys. Well, welcome back to another episode of EVERYMAN CHATS, presented to you by WA Camping Adventures. Got a bloody super respected member of the WA community here, but I'm looking forward to learning much more about him. And it's just a bonus that he loves four-wheel driving and camping as well, but he really doesn't need an introduction, but I'll just get straight into it and say I've got the co-captain and the co-host of a podcast, the Full Drive podcast, but it's Liam Duggan from the bloody West Coast Eagles, dude. How are you, man?
I'm good, mate. I can't do anything by myself. I need a co-show everywhere I go. So.
Nah, man. No, I appreciate you giving me your time, man. I really do. Thanks for coming over. And I've got to give a shout out to Swano, who hooked us up, man. I'm stoked about that.
Nah, we spoke about that. We always knew. I had because obviously I've been a fan of yours for a long time, mate.
Oh, man, I'm honoured. Bloody honoured.
I had a feeling just like once I sort of stepped into the four-wheel driving sort of industry, if you will, I was like, I reckon somehow we'll get connected one day. And
I was looking forward to it, dude.
Like, so it's here. It's good. It's good.
No, someone messaged me and said that you mentioned me, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude, that's my foot in the door. I want to see if I can have a beer with him and have a convo with him. Of course, you're not. You're training at the moment. You're right in the middle of a season at the moment, so I'm having a beer for you.
Yeah, have my fighter.
But Liam's just come from training. But guys, I wanted to, and I've tried to say this to Liam as well. I'm trying to ask Liam exactly what I want to know about the football life and about his what does he do to sort of offset the pressure and the stress and what would you call it, like a adrenaline rush that is the freaking footy life, dude. And just talking to you even off mic here, off air, just the stuff it's mind blowing, man. And I'm looking forward to digging in and just sort of hearing a lot more about that life and hopefully people understanding what you guys go through, man. It's fucking wild.
Yeah, it is. Oh, mate, it becomes sort of normal for us to a degree. So to see your reaction on just some of that stuff we were talking about out there is, it's sort of, for me to see that is cool to actually remind me that what we're doing is pretty out of the ordinary for a lot of people. So
100% it is, man. And you should also, appreciate how hard you do fucking work. Sometimes you can forget, man. It just becomes mundane. I'm guessing, even in such an extraordinary life like yours.
Yeah. Well, we can, mate. Like, it ends up, it's a full-time career, full-time work, if you will.
It is, man.
It's what we do. But you still, like, I think I was speaking about the open training session that we did today, and you pinch yourself at the moment that you can make for a young fan or a kid like that. Man. So you sort of, as it can get into that, like it can for anyone, that can become a bit mundane, and you might be going that well and it's a bit hard and you feel the pressure, but you can still make some pretty special moments. And what we do is, like
you did mention one, man. You did mention, how the little fellas are sitting there and you're signing stuff for them, and I guess those open training sessions, man, are probably a great little gauge for you to remind you why you're doing it as well.
100%, yeah.
What responsibilities you have.
I've been that little kid before myself, so you remember what that was for you when you were growing up, and like I said, you can sort of, that was one moment for me that I will remember as a kid, but I can produce sort of 10 of those just today.
Yeah, of course,
so
man.
That's the power in what we do, and that's really special, mate. Like that is a good reminder of what we're doing is bigger than just me and how I'm feeling.
Yeah, it's a massive industry, isn't it? And I think it's fucking great for Australia, isn't it? You can't let AFL die. It will never die.
Yeah, it brings a lot of people together. Like, and what it means to some
fighting.
It separates a lot of people too. But what it does, for the community and like how much it means to some people. Like you take your hat off to the people that just live and breathe it.
Definitely, man.
That aren't players or coaches or staff. Working at the footy club. It's just their life to support us, and that's pretty special. Yeah,
it is bloody amazing, mate. Now, look, the first thing I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. These are fucking weird questions, okay, dude?
Love it.
The entry banners?
Yeah, that we run.
What are they made of?
Yeah, that's a good.
Do you know what I mean? Like, do you ever bounce back off them? Like, they look fucking hard to break.
There's some solid tape on sections of the junctions. But no, they're just like that. like the streamer sort of
like tissue paper, like paper, like streamer paper.
Yeah, you know the streamers that you sort of
I've been
throw
wanting
out
to know that for years, mate.
I think it's that.
Yeah, gotcha.
Actually, we haven't had the banner for quite a while. We've brought it back this year, and the cheer squad are up there every week at a home game, obviously, putting them together. So I think a fair few of our staff and a couple of players have started to filter through and help make the banner, which is pretty cool. So
wait, so is that not something that's made by the club, like organised by the club?
No, that's our cheer squad doing that
You're
for us.
kidding me.
So there would be like the comms between the two, but the cheer squad put it all together for us. Yeah,
I never knew that, man. I thought it was something by the club.
Yeah, no, it's that's the passionate people that that dedicate part of their week to helping us out. Yeah,
Jesus. Well, it is pretty hard to sit back, have a couple of beers and watch footy, mate. It's fucking labouring, dude.
Hard. Yeah, I get it.
Mate, the other one is, I know this is a weird one, I just wanted to break the ice on the way in, but fuck, I was watching a throwback footy game the other day. Remember the white doctor's coats at their goal? Where the fuck have they gone, man? Why don't we bring them back?
Yeah,
I reckon,
they're pretty mobile on the goal line these days. They sort of move around quite a lot.
Get some players stepping on.
Yeah, it's. Thank God we're not wearing those shorts anymore that they used to wear back in the day. But they wouldn't be doing me any favours. But
oh shit, dude! Now look, the first thing I wanted to get into is that you're obviously co-host of the Full Drive podcast, dude, under Backchat Studios. Yep. How's that whole experience been for you, Liam? And how how did you fall into it, man? How did you get involved?
Yeah, it was exactly that, mate. I fell into it for sure. But so Backchat Studios was obviously a creation of a ex-teammate of mine, Will Schofield, and his partner in there. So Dan, better shout him out. And so they came to me and Scully rang me one day and just said, "Oh mate, I've got an opportunity. I'll give you a call next week." And I thought, if this is anything to do with footy or, I was just like, I don't need any extracurricular footy. And I thought that's sort of where it was going. And he called me back the next week and he said, "Mate, I've got something that's we're about to start up. We're about to sort of launch a podcast on camping, forward driving." I think it almost started out maybe being potentially a fishing and just an outdoorsy sort of podcast, and under his banner at Backchat. So I was like, oh yeah, that's okay. That's sort of starting to come towards my wheelhouse a little bit, and not that I'm an expert at it, but I'm interested in it. And
you're vocal about that. You are absolutely vocal about that on the podcast, and I love that, dude. It's relatable. You're like, look, this is my experience.
It's so people don't question me, and I can't answer for them. But
because we're the same as footy fans, you know what I mean? They'll pull you up.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, check their experience out. But no, it was one of those ones, mate. So that when he sort of, as he went on, it was sort of we've got Ronnie Dahl on board, and I said, okay, he's not a bad.
Not a bad snag
person to have in there. So, and a bit, like I was saying a bit earlier, is just saying yes to things that sort of don't shut a door.
Dude. Yeah.
So that was part of me jumping on board, and podcasting wasn't something that I wanted to get into. It wasn't like, I wasn't waiting for this opportunity, or I wasn't seeking to start. Didn't even see myself in it at all. And and anyway, we said yes to this opportunity, and met with Ronnie and Jaden, who's our producer, and sort of got the crux of what we were going to go after. And it was me starting, I'm the novice, and Ronnie's the expert, and we sort of and Jaden's a keen four-wheel driver too.
Magic.
So
makes it easy.
It's the three of us in it together, and mate, we've just become our own little thing now. So we're a year into it, and 50 odd episodes down.
I know, man.
So I couldn't believe it. So like I've watched Ronnie growing up, and over the last sort of, definitely since I've been in WA, and so that's like, it's huge for me to be operating, in your circle now and Ronnie's circle, and that was a real thrill for me. So just saying yes to that opportunity's just opened up so many doors past that, and I've met heaps of people that I sit on the tube and watch, and so it's been really cool. We've ended up at four-wheel drive shows around the country, and I'm jumping on bloody stage after All for Adventure and before four-wheel drive 24/7. It's like, hang on a second,
how do I follow that up?
I'm out of my depth here, and but you throw yourself into it, and it's been really, really good. So love the experience and love being involved with Ronnie and obviously the Backchat crew. But just an opportunity, mate. I couldn't say no
man.
to.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, I can see it, dude, that you're really good at talking and stuff like that. No, you honestly are, man. But I know that my wife, like, when I mentioned that I want to get her on this podcast, she's like one of those fucking... Well, I must admit I was the same maybe a little bit at the very start, like you're practicing. Did you ever catch yourself practicing, like answering shit or talking or practicing intros and shit like that?
Yeah,
Come on.
I reckon I did to a degree, mate. Like, the funny thing is, with like the... I watch your stuff and Ronnie's stuff, like the camera's always rolling to a degree. So like it's not, but in that sense, like for the hour and a half that we're sitting there putting this podcast together and on air talking, like that part I didn't understand at the start. So it was like when Jaden said, "All right, we're cameras are on," like it starts the music and I'm about to intro the show for the first time. I was like, got the like sweats on.
Dude, I know.
Hang on a second, I'm like, and they all the Backchat crew are in the background watching. And it's my first time trying to intro, and
I don't know how I could do that, dude.
So I didn't know until then that I needed to actually you need to scrub up a little bit on what your craft is. Like I would practice kicking and handball and marking and tackling. Like I sort of needed to focus a little bit on how I was presenting as a podcaster now. So I've enjoyed that journey, and what we get in footy a lot is feedback daily from coaches and teammates, and you review everything and you preview everything, and the feedback is just turn the corner and you get a bit of feedback if you want it. So
magic.
In the podcast game, I was kind of looking for a bit of feedback. And I know Scully had played with him for quite a long time, and I know he'll give you some feedback. So like
whether you like it or not.
Yeah, but there was so I was actually asking him, like, mate, if there's anything that you're like picking up, and this was early days, and Dan had a little bit for me too, who was experienced, and Ronnie was great in that area too, with helping me out with different things. And the best part about all of them, though, they never made me feel like I was out of my depth. So even though that's wicked, they never made me feel like I was judged, if I felt the pressure, they weren't making me feel it. It was just on myself. Or if I asked a question that, Ronnie, he's probably just sitting there going, "Are you joking? How am I on air with this bloke? He's got no idea where the wheel nuts meant to go." He didn't make that an issue to me. So it was that part early on was really important, and it just sort of, again, not an expert at podcasting or four-wheel driving or camping or whatever it is, but the journey that it's taken us has been really fun, and learnt plenty in that space. But you have to a degree practice what you're doing.
Definitely, dude. I mean, way I'm treating podcasting, because I don't like you said before, you got to back yourself in certain things. You really got to just throw yourself out there, knowing that you might get fucking shot down. But I don't know how I know I'd shit myself so hard. That's why I'm lucky with here, because it's, you've got the producer and the creative director over
mate back there.
No, but like I could not imagine, my heart's beating quicker knowing that I'm in a room with people that hardly know, and I have to run this show. And you basically do take a front seat to that, don't you? Because I notice you do all the intros and stuff like that. And fuck, man, talk about backing yourself, and it's worked out. Well, I mean, how do you look at podcasting? With me, I look at it like I'm just having a chat. Having a chat and a couple of beers. But obviously, it's a side thing for me, Liam, you know what I mean? Whereas it's someone else's business that you're representing, so you've got to take it serious to some certain extent, Yeah,
you do. And there's that. I definitely haven't felt that either, though. So that's been nice. We've been given a lot of freedom in that sense.
Yeah, good.
I think, but
makes you work better.
Well, it just relaxes the shoulders, doesn't it?
Exactly,
when you're like that. So it's like even with the guest interviews and stuff that we've done, like you say, I back myself not in the area that I'm talking about, but it just being a conversationalist and being able to hold.
Exactly,
and,
man. Yeah, show interest.
Show interest, ask questions, be curious, and that's held me in pretty good stead, I think, with those guest interviews. And I knew a lot about our guests. A lot of our guests I knew at least a little bit about.
Of course,
I was a fan of the channel, or like that. The thing that actually that I'm impressed with, and with this is with yourself, mate, with Ronnie, and with anyone that sort of does their own thing, and is like the being able to talk to your camera just as you in the car. And so that interaction, because, you and I here are talking one-on-one. Yeah. But you there are talking one to however many people are watching your video.
Yeah, and I know what you mean.
I find that that art would be really difficult to master, I think. And so I think that the ones, and I've told you before, mate, like you engage with your with your people really well,
Yeah.
and that part is awesome and refreshing.
Thanks,
and
man.
it's easy to
Appreciate it.
watch, and we'll start pissing in each other's pockets later.
Yeah.
But it's just
Massage lights on.
yeah, can smell nice in here. But no, that's so that part for me. We did a little bit of filming. Out in the bush testing the Grenadier.
Yeah, saw that on the power lines.
Yeah,
Yep.
just out the back here and sort of through my car into it, and whatever we had out there we just put down. But so that part, like actually, like me driving the car and knowing the camera's looking at my face and all this sort of stuff.
And you're trying not to act too much. Like you know, at the end of the day, you're excited as hell. You've got to try and be yourself.
Yep.
You've got to also try and show people that you're loving it, and you can't overdo it because you
yeah.
know there's a camera, there's a voice in your head going, "Nah, you need to be more exciting." It's like, "Nah, fuck this. I'm just going to do my own thing."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that comes across in the people that do that really well. That comes across in their clips. So the funny ones are when you bring your mates out, or like not just you, but
and the banter comes out. I think that's the best thing, man.
That you start to work with that too. So that's the part about it that I don't get just yet. But you just like you say, you back yourself as a conversationalist, and that's helped me.
I reckon you've done the hardest part first, which is like in a room full of people running that show, dude. I fucking applaud you, dude. I really do. It's amazing. So I wanted to talk about camping next. I've got down here your Forby journey, dude, but I wanted to talk first about like what got you into the whole camping, full driving. I know you're a Victorian lad.
Yep.
Can you tell me? Surely the Vic High Country had to do something with that, maybe, or can you enlighten me?
Well, it wasn't the Vic High Country. We were on the other side of Vic and on the western side, and mate, to be honest, didn't do a lot of it growing up. So we Dad always loved his camping, and not so much like full driving or any of that stuff, but loved tour, like getting around. Dad loved driving, basically. So it didn't matter what car he was in, he loved going for a drive.
Yeah,
so
not hardcore.
So we just jump in whatever he had, and we didn't do many camping trips, but when we did, I just always loved it. Looked forward to it whenever we were doing it, but didn't do a lot of it. And then it was kind of once I got over here, because I was drafted as a about to turn 18, so I was really young. I actually hadn't got my license yet. So I sort of got over here and settled in, and you start to realise like WA is just so like massive, and but you can access the beach only 40 minutes north of Perth, or
I know.
You know, the power line's 40 minutes east and the same south. So it's sort of like it started to open up, and I made some mates at the footy club that enjoyed fishing and surfing, and
beautiful.
They were country boys, or whether whatever it was, that you sort of you start to become a bit of a product of your environment, don't you?
Of course, man.
So, the boys had utes, so if a couple of years in, I was like, all right, I'm going to get a ute, and so that's still the ute that I've got.
So that was your first Forby then?
My first Forby,
all right. That's going to be a short segment then, isn't it?
Very short. Next question.
I'll roll it.
I've had many different looks on it though, since getting into it. But so I just fell into that trap of like I enjoyed surfing and fishing. I was like, oh, I'll come if you're going, and then But started to sort of get shown by my host parents as well. Like they were sort of into their. John, my host dad, had a 4-wheel drive, and he'd take me driving on the beach and this sort of thing. Magic. So I started to get a taste for it over here mainly, with the 4-wheel driving side, and I just fell in love with it. Like I fell in love with like sort of putting the car together as well, and just all the different things that were out there for that. And
you mechanically minded at all?
Not. I'd like to think I am. I'm just not. I just don't have the experience in it. Like I want to use my hands, and I want to be sort of in the engine bay. I don't know what I'm doing in there, but I love
learning.
I love learning that. So there's definitely interest in that for me moving forward as well. So and now that I'm in this space a little bit with the podcast, and it's only the toes are in, but I've actually there's so much access now to be able to learn.
Oh
that
man,
sort of stuff too.
That's where I love YouTube. So you'd back yourself changing something half major if you had a YouTube video there to...
I can follow
I'll
along.
be the same, I think.
Can follow along. Yeah, I know for a fact that you're much better than I am at that stuff, because I've seen you on the channel, but like...
I'm really not, eh? No, I must have fucking faked it well. It's mostly the lads that I go with, they're like, a lot of them are diesel mechanics and stuff like that, but
that
if something fucked up in my car out there, I'd be pretty much stuffed, unless it's like a radiator, a hose or some bullshit.
So I've actually enjoyed that part too, like because you spend so much money on them, don't you? And then,
Yeah, man.
like, it gets to the point where it's like, I want that gone, but I don't want to pay anyone else to do it. Or,
Yeah,
I want that
nice.
on and don't want to say, you sort
yep.
of, you just dive into it a bit.
Yeah. So you've obviously changed a few bull bars and shit like that, I'm
well,
guessing, by the sounds of that.
I've done bits and pieces and thrown the canopy off. I've done taken
nice.
two canopies and, so I don't really mess around with the wiring stuff. Like, I've
same here.
wired up the UHF and whatever,
Yep.
but not, haven't put the sort of the full switch panel in the back and stuff. So
don't trust myself.
Nah. So there's some things I know where I'm at. Yeah,
these fat fingers, mate. I can't turn.
I'm not quite there. But no, I do enjoy it. So there's definitely I'm keen to learn more in that space too. But I wouldn't back myself massively if I was pretty remote.
Yeah, 100%. Now I just heard before, and while it's fresh in my brain, I heard you say host dad and host mum.
Sorry,
Can you explain to me what that is?
Yeah, so that the West Coast have that set up. I'm not sure if
massive.
A lot of clubs would probably do the same thing. But yeah, when you come over, especially if you're a WA country boy or an interstater, come over and you sort of join a host family or host parents for me, and they just settle you in basically. So you go and live with them and they look after you, and so it's not a real drastic change from living at home with
of course,
with mum, dad,
because I always wondered how that would go. Not uprooting your life. Do your parents come with you? What do they do?
Yeah, no, they stayed back home, so you sort of come in and live with your host parents, and I got really lucky. I got rippers. So
did you?
John and Cheryl, they're absolute stars. Still love them to this day. Catch up. They've moved down south now, but when we can, we head down that way, and they still come up to the games. And
gotcha.
John's just bought himself a new Y62 actually, so he's decking that
one
out
of those
himself.
guys.
But, I took it for a spin, mate. They go.
I know, dude. I'll tell you what. I'm not biased towards that shit at all. I'll be honest with you, but they sound unlike any other car with an exhaust on them, mate. It's wild,
it's nice. But yeah, so that's how we. So I stayed with them for 2.5 years, and
wow, man. Obviously, because you were 17 and not 18, still young,
Yeah, so I probably and not a lot of boys will stay that long. Some will stay longer, but some, especially back then, it's probably not as done now.
The casseroles and the dinners were too nice.
Mate, yeah, they were spot on too. I got introduced to seafood over here. Nice.
Okay.
Fish and chips back home, but once I got over here, I started to eat jewfish and crayfish and got my eyes opened up a bit there. And Cheryl's a beautiful cook, so I was lucky. So that's why they were good people, and it was just
worked well,
great living there, and they were close to the footy club. And
magic. Is that something they have to sign up for or something? How do you become a host family?
I actually don't know. I think I reckon I actually don't know, but I would say that. I reckon it'd be sort of word of mouth, and you might
police
be
clearances
to someone
and shit
here,
like that. I guess.
Yeah, they probably would have to go through that once they're in. But yeah, so mine, I was the last player that John and Cheryl had, and they, I think they weren't going to take.
They'll never have me again. I was the best they ever had.
But they had a few beforehand, and I don't think they were going to do it again, but. They had 2 players previously who'd come from a similar area to me, the same school.
Yeah, magic.
Had the same teacher at school, the footy coach.
Yeah.
I think they sort of came out of retirement because these boys, who were still at the footy club at the time.
You sent them back in, didn't you?
Yeah, they got them back into it. So they got stuck with me for 2.5 years. But it was good fun. Yeah.
I'll be the last you ever have. I'll ruin you. Ruin it for everyone else.
I think it was that bad.
I'm going to paint it like that in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
No,
That's why they moved down south.
So okay. So it obviously stemmed a bit from John, the guy who you were...
Yeah, John was he was pretty good too. He was a surveyor. He's only recently just finished up as well. He could be back into it. He's one of those blokes, a bit like your old man.
Yeah,
he can't
just
sit
won't
still
stop.
And wants to keep going. So he was good. He had, what did he have at the time? I reckon he had a Colorado 7 at the time. It wasn't he had a bull bar and an aerial on it and that, but it wasn't fully kitted out. But they're a wagon.
Yeah, gotcha.
They're like the MUX sort of thing.
I'm with you.
But that was sort of my first little run on sand in his car. So you can't drive on the beaches back home. So even that.
Man, okay. What was that like, dude? The first time driving on a beach changes your life.
It was weird. Yeah, it was weird. I got really nervous. I could you get the sweaty palms on the steering wheel when you're having a crack at something new. But so that was my first crack at that. So little bits and pieces that influenced that, and then it was mainly just once I got a taste, I was just like, oh, I'm into this.
Yeah, and it's freedom as well, man. You know, like that was the next question for you. Like, what does camping do for you? Sure, you know, I'll let you answer it, but it's like that fucking freedom, dude, of jumping on the beach, even with a couple of mates and that.
Yep.
It's the, you know, like west, you get the sunset.
Yeah.
That's something that's unbeatable, man, I reckon. But, you know, what does camping do for, you know, for the fucking co-host of the West Eagle? Do you know West Coast Eagle? Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure.
It's huge. Like, obviously, I don't get to do it as much as I'd
of
like
course,
to,
man.
But,
Yep.
Well, I think it's exactly what you say. It's just like there's nothing to me that's bad about camping or being out, you know, out in the bush or on the beach, and you just get to take a step back.
Spot on.
There's so many things that you can do while you're camping.
Spot on.
One of them's cook dinner, and the other one's set up your swag, and you know, so there's all like, it's just simple, and
man.
And I think that's something that we can get stuck in. I don't know if it's Australia, or if it's my industry, your whatever. I think everyone just finds themselves busy. They don't know sometimes how they're busy, but they are, and I reckon camp's just a beautiful way to step back and
fucking
take a moment. Man. So it's for me, it's like as much as I can't do it a lot, I love it. But then I also get a lot from, and this might sound weird to people, but like for YouTube's been great in that sense where I can watch your stuff and it's like you're you know, if you're on the Holland track, then I can join you for half an hour.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's sort of the trip series that people do, and I enjoy the build series and you know, whatever it is. I enjoyed all of it, but I love when people are on their trips and
dude, I love trips.
That's
my bread and butter.
And then you make it free so I can watch it. But like that's where I can get a little bit from that too. So I don't actually have to be out there, but it's like, oh great, you know, there's I can jump on here and have a look where these people are, and for half an hour I can spend, you know, some time in Broome or Cape York or whatever
that's
it is, Simpson Desert. So
we'll just fucking write it on the list, you know.
And
that's all I use YouTube for.
Yeah,
that's where I want to go now.
You start sort of you do for sure. 100%.
So have you been solo camping, Liam?
I have, not often, but I have. Yeah.
Fuck, well done, man. How'd you feel? How'd you go? Like,
mate, I enjoyed it. Yeah, for
where'd
sure.
you
go? So one was just out the back of. I was on the way to an early morning, sort of out the back of Pingelly, Brookton area.
Oh, nice.
So I was out there. I think it's Quita or Cuta. I don't know how to pronounce it, but something like that.
Yeah, gotcha.
So just did a little overnighter, ducked in behind there. Done some up north on sort of travels back, like drop partner off at the airport and I'll drive back. So like just sort of, you know, they're not sort of going out purely to camp by myself kind of thing. I'd love to. It's more just been, you know, in between trips. And, it's like you got to get the car back somehow. So I went up at 80 Mile and done a little bit on the East Coast as well at times. So bits and pieces, but it's only been just sort of, you know, in transit.
What do you find you do, you know, on a solo camp? Like, what do you find yourself doing?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you genuinely, that is like full blown switch off.
It is, eh?
Yeah. So it's kind of like I enjoy like setting up and packing down. A gas cooker. Yeah,
that's it, dude. Just taking your time.
Couldn't be bothered doing that any other time.
No.
Like that's all I've got to do at the moment, so I'm going to enjoy it. So
my wife wants me to do it at home as well. It's like, no.
But I don't know. There's just something to it that I definitely didn't. I'd much prefer to be camping with the crew.
Beauty. That's what I was going to ask you.
Lovely, but it's I didn't not enjoy it. I think there's some real, you know, again, you just another step back, really. Like it's just your own thoughts, and
it is that. And I find that on my solo trips, I find I did like you say, step back, but you almost like check your life, like check how life's going, make plans and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, I don't think I could do it for more than 3-4 days.
Yeah, right.
It'd be a fucking lonely life, man.
I haven't had a crack at that.
I haven't either, man. Yeah. I've done 3 nights, I think, and I was like, nah, I think I'm ready to go in. I'm full in fucking no pants are cut off, fucking wrestling sharks, whatever. Dude, going into the deep stuff now. Sorry, man, but this is shit that again, guys, this is stuff that I want to know about Liam, and especially being in the realm that he is, I'm very interested to hear this. So, who would be your biggest mentor, Liam, or your biggest influence on your life, dude? Like.
Yeah, my dad would be for sure. Yeah, as a man, sort of, you know.
Of course, your old man's your hero.
Yeah, the old man's a hero. Always has been, and then still now seeing how you know, becoming, you know, I'm not I'm not old or, but
No.
just not a dad yet. But seeing how, like, just, you grow up and you learn how much they give to you. Your parents, likewise, but just dad as like the relationship that I've got with my dad is just super important to me, and I'm very thankful that he is how he is, and sort of how he brought us up as his two boys. But he's been a big influence on life, footy, and not footy in a sense that he's taught me everything I know, but just like ultimate support. Go after what you want to go after, mate. Chase your dreams, and he, I've just always got my back, and so and that's both my parents. But dad is like what it's like with your old man. So it's sort of, he's the one that's been a big influence on my life as a whole. Yep.
Gotcha. What does he do, man? If you don't mind me asking.
He's a copper.
Oh, really?
So he's a plumber by trade.
Oh, wow.
And,
okay.
So he did that out of school, and but he's a copper. So
awesome. Over east still?
Over east, yeah.
Gotcha. How often do you see him, man?
I see him. I actually see him regularly, but not for long.
Yeah, of course.
So we're lucky. We play. We might play 5 to 6 games in Melbourne a year. And see him every time we go over there, and then catch up with him in the off season, after the season, Christmas or New Year's. Try to alternate either one of those. So I see him a bit, and the beauty of
FaceTime.
Like,
I'll tell you what,
jump on and
there's some shit parts of technology,
there
man.
is.
But I'll tell you what, we
is.
could be. I'm so thankful for FaceTime, dude.
Yeah, that's been that's been a great way to with all my family and friends back home.
Of course.
That keeps you in contact. So.
Do you miss that shit, man? Do you miss being in your hometown and stuff like that?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I actually haven't.
Even after how long you've been here, still do?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I haven't actually experienced living over there as an adult ever.
Yeah, gotcha.
So there's part of this, that doesn't know. I love it here and really happy here, and my partner's from here and her family who have been really great. And
I was going to ask you that. Yeah, so she's a WA girl. Oh,
WA
awesome,
girl,
mate.
yeah. So she's she's from here with her family, and but I love it here, mate. It's absolutely beautiful. But I've got a lot of my family and friends are all back here. I've had a few boys move over here. Over
really?
Time, so we've got 3 or 4 of them running around Perth, causing a bit of trouble. But
trying to get in the fucking West Coast Eagles suite.
Yeah, it's never getting let in. But no, it's been good. But I wouldn't mind one day, post sort of career and that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that
for a little bit.
Yeah, beautiful, man.
But I think there's best of both worlds here. I get to choose either back home there or back home here. So it's
anywhere in Australia, dude. How lucky are we to live here, man?
Lucky.
With the shit going on in the world.
Yep.
Another deep one, dude. Sorry to keep throwing them at you. Have you ever suffered burnout, man? Even in personal life or on the field. And how do you manage it?
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually didn't know what burnout was until it's funny you say it, because I didn't even know what it was until probably 6
sounds
months
like
ago.
That sounds like it should be on a fucking motivational poster.
Yeah,
burnout. What's that?
And I think luckily I don't think I have.
Man. If you didn't know what it was and you haven't felt anything towards that,
maybe ignorance is bliss. But I definitely there's times, especially the last couple of years, we've been as a team and a footy club, and we've been struggling, and there's probably times where that's felt like it's getting close to burnout, maybe, because you're putting all of your effort into it. And,
I can imagine.
And when you're not seeing results, or it's hard to just keep fronting up and getting after it, and that's what we've done really. But I actually think I've been quite lucky, mate, and haven't really hit it.
Yeah, shows you're enjoying what you're doing, mate.
I am enjoying it, and this year's been a challenge because I'm busier than I've ever been with
podcast, side projects. Especially, I need to explain this to the listeners. Sorry to interrupt, man. It's a normal fucking thing that I do. Sorry, it's just shit going through my brain. No, just like Liam was explaining to me that, all the other commitments and that I guess fans do know, but I guess the way you explained it to me is how busy your life is. It's fucking insane, dude, as far as media and training, and like you've just come from training. Do you know what I mean? So I do realise how special it is that you're giving me your time, but I guess, I thought that might lead to burnout somehow, but I guess what do you think makes you not get the burnout then, Liam? Do you know what I mean? Like time management? What is it,
Yeah, I reckon, I think what you said before, I didn't think about it that way, but enjoying what I'm doing is a big part of it. So it's fucking oath. You find yourself busy, and I actually think our schedule as footballers is really, really great.
Yep.
They're working really hard on getting
Oh,
a
of
decent
course, man, I
work-life
bet.
balance,
Yep.
and that's really important. And I think they're doing a good job in that
Yep.
in that sense. So I would say that my schedule is probably less busy than what a normal 9 to 5 job is, or whatever it is.
Good
so
shit.
I think
Excellent.
that's making quite inroads. And there's also that stuff that you deal with as footballers on the scrutiny side, and
Definitely, man.
you're very public, and there's other things that go with it, which people I think understand. But I think enjoying what I'm doing and time management's been important. I didn't handle it that well when I first took this role on, and
Interesting.
I started to be like, whoa, hang on, this is
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do something about
I
this.
think I'm gonna have to do something
Yep.
about this. And I think because it was new, I was excited, so I was probably trying to overdo it. And
Gotcha.
then I think because it was new to the club as well, and the people in it, and the interest, I suppose, publicly from what it was now, so I was probably going overs, and then there was also a lot of requests happening on this side too. So
Gotcha.
I'm trying to give everyone a bit of
piece of it.
something, and then there's actually like they're starting to ask a lot too, and I think we found a really nice balance now of
beautiful.
that. So yeah, and that's only probably been since I actually understood what burnout was. So,
Yeah, gotcha.
But I reckon that I've been busy and I've been tired, and
Yeah, I bet, man.
There's I'm not special in that case. We've
Yep.
all been like that before. So, but definitely I think we're on a good. I think we're on the right path with
Yep.
work-life balance in the footy world,
Good shit.
and looking after the
Yeah,
mental side of what we're doing,
that's
because I think with like we say, the phones and the technology, it's
Yeah.
been really, really great in a lot of ways. It's also opened up people that are public, and you would see this to a degree as well, mate, with
Everyone has a voice.
They do. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, couldn't have put it better myself. So that's you got to be careful with that too, and because that can create. And I'm not on social media, but that can create some voices and some.
Yep.
Like you start to sometimes believe what you're reading.
Yeah,
and you got to be really
okay.
careful around that too. So that can also. I think that being not on social media has helped me. I don't have to see whether it's good or bad. I don't see the.
That's mint, man.
I
Yeah,
don't
you only
see
see
that
it
chat.
face to face, I guess, and
Yep.
you're learning about it and then accepting it. Then,
Yep.
Can I ask you, man? Does the club offer like tools for you to sort of get over all this stuff? Like, as far as like, do they teach you how to deal with scrutiny and stuff like that, or is that something you have to pick up yourself? Or
Yeah, I don't know if they teach you to deal with scrutiny. I don't know how, like that sort of, that would be quite hard. But there's tools
Course,
there to
man,
help.
yeah.
Tools there to help for sure. If you do find yourself in a time where it's like, oh, this is
overwhelming?
this is
Yeah,
overwhelming, and it may not be the social media side. It might just be, I'm struggling with my own performance, or
Gotcha.
I'm not really feeling like I'm up to it, or
Yep.
I'm going really well, and everyone's just on top of me, loving me, and like,
and I'm
some
worried
people,
about the fall.
well, yeah, or just like people sometimes that gets too much for them as well.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, gotcha.
there's definitely tools in place, and we're really well resourced to get ahead of that and look after it when it happens as well. So there's definitely education around how to deal with that side of the game. But yeah, the resources that we've got is the reason that we're set up in that space.
Yeah,
Probably
magic.
years gone by. It's been, I don't think it's been since I've been involved in the game, but
Yep.
you sort of you hear about it from previous
Course, man.
eras where it wasn't as
Oh,
it's like in society it's become more and more popular to talk about, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
So I think there's been more resource just put into helping.
Yeah,
that out.
good. And I hope it goes further. But how have you gone, man, without social media? I would love to.
Yeah.
Like, did you make a conscious decision to get rid of it at the start of your career, or is there a certain year where you're like, nah, bugger this, I'm gonna.
Yeah, it was.
shelve it?
So I definitely had it. I was on social media. So I've been off it since 2019. So it's been about
well done, 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Yep.
It would have been about close to this time 5 years ago. So don't know why I checked my watch. 5 o'clock on.
No, well done. It was
5 o'clock 5 years ago.
to this day.
But no, mate, I've loved it, and I sort of.
Yeah, I want to know, man.
Yeah, I just don't have to. Good or bad, I don't have to see it. And I think the one thing that I enjoy the most is I don't have to fill my head with the
Yeah, I love that,
stuff
man.
because I can sit on my high horse a bit sometimes and just see what we're people are filling their heads with.
Oh, shit, yeah, brother. I fucking could not agree more.
I don't, and now come on, I've got YouTube and I can still get a taste of what it is, and they've got the shorts
still the
on
comment
there now.
section.
Yeah, you can see the comment section on them and check the Forward Drive podcast comments. But, no, it has been, mate. It's been a breath of fresh air, and that's the reason I haven't gone back on it. I just realised that there was, I wasn't missing out on enough to warrant getting it back.
Yeah, that's it.
And I told myself then, I was like, if it's good enough for me, if it's big enough or funny enough or good enough to, like, someone will tell me about it.
Yeah, and that's it, man. 100%.
It's going to get back to me.
Get news like you did 10 years ago, you know.
Yeah, and it's forced me and my So rather than Snapchat's big these days in the younger population for sure, and so rather than being in chatting on a Snapchat group, which I think people do now, and then they're chatting on Instagram, and then they're chatting on text message and WhatsApp, and so it's like I just had one mode of connection with my mates.
Yeah,
magic. So it's like we just it forced me to be a little bit more connected.
Yeah, nice, man. No, of course, I understand that.
What I mean.
Yeah,
so
having a conversation,
a bit more of a conversation. Yeah.
Fuck, I love that, Liam. I do.
Yeah, so it's been good, and I honestly don't think I'll
go back.
Yeah,
at this point,
I don't think I will. You never say never, but I just don't see myself getting it back. Yeah.
Does it affect your playing, you think? Like in a good way? I imagine it would.
Yeah.
Can't be anything but positive, man.
Ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Fucking if there's no noise.
I don't see... and the people out there matter. Like, I'm not saying that, but the opinions that really do matter to me and what I do about my football and how
you keep
how
in
I go
touch
about
with.
my life is
they're
already in the circle that I'm in. So
I love that. That's good.
Yeah,
opinions that truly you value to make you better.
Yes,
100%.
Yeah.
Instead of listening to all the noise, you love the good stuff.
Yeah,
but then it's obviously trying as hard as you can to block out the shit.
Yeah,
because there are scumbags out there, man.
I'll
say it for you.
Yeah, thanks, Rod. No, but it's that basically, mate. It's the I think you always get the advice to you pick a few people that you trust and you listen to, but like that's sort of taken I've taken control of that by not having the social media, and that's been taken away from me. So. And that's just a number of reasons, but it has been quite nice to not. Yeah,
and you'd be much more productive too, I guess, eh?
Yeah, well, that was part of it too. Yeah, it's like if I'm spending 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, it's like, what else can I be doing? And that was watching you on YouTube. So.
That's a fucking shit choice of time, dude.
So it could always still be more productive, but that was part of the thinking originally. Yeah.
Far out, man. That's awesome. Like, I fantasize about doing that, and. Do you know, it's a bit of an excuse me saying this, but it's like, you need it for the platform. Absolutely, I fucking don't, man. There are guys out there like who are doing it just on YouTube, and absolutely there is a way, but fuck, I'm very lucky I'm not in such a fucking huge public eye like you are, man, because you get guys who think they know more than you about the game that you've played all your fucking life, man. And I'll tell you what, I said this to you before. I'm not a huge football, like a fucking diehard fan, but I tell you what, there is no one more savage, dude, than football fans, like about their own club even. Like, tell you what, man, I've seen like even other clubs, even some of my closest mates, like their club has a bad week and it's like, fuck, they'll boot you. They will fucking like death threats, that type of thing. Yeah. It's like, geez, man, you don't understand the life these guys have. They're working hard.
Yeah, we are. I think it's a really sort of minority group that you do hear the voice of, and like we are very lucky. We've got like the biggest supporter base that you could ever ask for, and they're mostly like they're unreal, and so there are always a few, but like we said before, like you won't hear the bad ones, coming.
Nah, man, so I love how you're saying that.
It's interesting how that happens, and
never happens in person.
Like we spoke about before as well. Like anyone in the public eye, yourself, Ronnie, you open yourself up.
Not really. Ronnie, maybe not me.
No, you do, mate. You do. But yeah, you sort of put yourself out there and you take pride in your work and all this sort of thing. And
100%, man.
Being chopped down isn't nice. So it's I think the best way I can describe it is the ignorance is bliss sometimes. But knowing that it's a really small minority that sometimes you're just trying to ignore.
Yeah, exactly, man. But you don't need that on your back.
You don't need
to
it.
think,
Who needs it? Like I'm telling you now, if I need to work on something in my game, I'm getting feedback
I'm a harder critic
from myself or the coaches.
That's it.
That's that's where it really matters.
Yeah, fucking oath, man. This was the one that I added at the end, man. Going way off topic. Well, not really, but getting drafted, right?
Yeah.
I was saying to you before how it must be like the best day of your life, as a football player. You made it. You've been chosen from like hundreds of players. Must be a fucking beautiful feeling, right? I want to know, is there a point where it feels weird? I'll tell you what, Liam, it feels weird to ask you a question. It feels weird, dude. I'm sorry, man. I wonder once that, all the adrenaline rush of getting drafted and that calms down, is there a pressure you put on yourself, or do you know from any experience of any other football AFL players, is there a pressure you put on yourself, and is it quite harsh, or are there guys who just float through and just fucking do it easy,
Yeah.
What was your experience, mate?
My experience was, like you say, the best feeling ever. Like you just, euphoric. Like that's.
I can't
huge.
imagine,
like,
man.
Sort of, you're only 18, or so it's like but it feels like at the time it's a massive part of your life, and that's all you were sort of going for quite a while.
And you've given up a lot, I guess, to be there. Especially these guys who do get drafted at your age, they're giving up on. The golden years as far as partying and stuff. Are they golden years? I don't fucking know, but it's a big commitment, man.
You skip a bit of that, that phase of your life for sure. Yep. Yeah, so it's not normal to what other 18-year-olds are doing.
No way, man.
when you're in it. So, well, my experience was it was awesome. So I was quite a high draft pick. I was pick 11.
Nice. Yep.
In my year, so. I was actually up on the Gold Coast for the draft, which is where it was being held. There's about 20 players or so up there for the actual draft night, just to make sure they had the top 10 on stage, and then I was the first one after the stage.
Gotcha.
Which is a great experience being up there.
Fuck, I bet.
But so originally, like, loving it, how good's this? And then you sort of you get back to your hotel room and you start to realise, like, oh, hang on a second, I'm moving to Perth in 3 days' time. I'm on the Gold Coast right now. So it's just like Thursday night, draft happens. Friday, you fly to the Gold Coast, fly back to Melbourne, get home, pack your bags. Sunday, you're going to Perth, mate.
Wow, man.
And you're going to live there for the next 10 years to now. So that part was daunting.
That is, I can't fucking comprehend that.
Yeah.
It's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's big. Yeah, it's big. So I was prepared because we lived. We were sort of like, we weren't rural, but we were sort of 70 k's from Melbourne. So it was
gotcha.
Either way, I was going to be moving out of home. So I knew I was leaving home.
Either to go to the city.
So wherever I was,
yep.
So I had, there you go, I'm pumping my own tyres there. I had a good feeling I was getting drafted that night. So
back yourself.
Back yourself, yeah. So I knew I was moving out of home, and it became a little bit daunting because like, geez, I'm going to Perth. It's a long way away.
Yeah.
And I think I was really excited until I sort of got on the plane. I was like, whoa. Here we go.
It's real.
I just
this is real.
Wave goodbye to mum and dad and the younger brother, and off we go. So it took me a little while it took me probably till Christmas time. So we drafted at the end of November. You spent sort of December here getting used to it and filtering in through the group.
Interesting. Then, when you say filtering in, like training with them, getting to know them and bonding.
And you meet the medical team and the coaches and the players, and they sort of start to, see where you're at so they don't burn you out
early
of course. Days.
Yeah.
And, you start to get involved and then you head back home to Chrissy. And it was funny because I was a little bit worried about whether I was going to last there in the first 2 weeks. I was just like, I just think this might be a bit too far for me. And
oh, man. Yeah, all shit
that
goes
all
through
started
your
to come through. And then... So I spent the 2 weeks there, and I was loving my time. But it was just sort of like the thought when I got home. It's like, oh, now I'm, I don't really know these John and Cheryl yet.
Yeah, I know, man.
Living in their house, and when I went away for Christmas, came back and just started to feel a bit more like, oh no, here I am,
routine.
This is me.
Like firefighter.
That's how I looked at it a little bit at the start.
It's my job now.
Yeah, that's how I looked at it. I sort of said, I'll be home in the off season. I'll be home at Christmas.
Yep.
And then I'll spend the first sort of little bit. I spend the 25 weeks of the season here.
Yeah.
It's a big swing. It was shocking swing. But I did treat it a little bit like that at the start, and then within the first sort of 3 months of January came around and February, March, and it was just like, this is awesome. Like,
really awesome.
I'm just
Okay,
doing what I love, and this is all like just part of settling in, and that was all natural. And
you back your ability and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you're not so much worried about the on-field performance.
That was the question, wasn't it? The pressure.
No. It's
away.
also pressure of uprooting your life, dude. And there's also, I wanted to ask you, is there a, do you think about injuries and shit? Like, I imagine that must be a big part of it as well. But what about the pressure of, we'll start off like playing. Obviously, you fucking know you're meant to be here. There's a reason I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, so natural, like that when that sort of period finished and the season comes around, I started off in the waffle playing a few games but I felt like I was doing okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so
magic.
I felt like I was sort of there and I was in the mix to play in the AFL, and I made my debut in round 2. The waffle started a couple of weeks before the AFL, so I made my debut in the AFL in round 2 of that.
Is that quite rare, Liam, or
it was that year it wasn't.
I can see you trying to be modest here. Yeah, no, I love it, man. I respect the shit out of it.
Very lucky to be. Yeah, if debuting in your first season, let alone the first sort of handful of games,
promising.
is that was a sort of a nice feeling to be involved in that. So, but yeah, I did. The first year was awesome because I didn't feel any pressure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking cool.
I didn't feel any pressure. It was just like all I had to do out there was go and have fun, play a role, give it all. Older players look after you, and you're learning.
Is that what it's like, man? The older players do look after
you? And
you?
I came into a successful period at the club too, so
beautiful.
Had a lot of senior players that were, willing to help out. And you don't have to be the star player from day dot. So I just had to sort of run around and, get a touch or two and defend well and run hard and just fit in.
Magic.
So I didn't feel the pressure early. It's more till my second year that I felt the pressure.
Interesting.
I sort of, I played 12 games in my first year, fell out of a bit of form, played a waffle game, and that first waffle game back, I ended my season with a knee injury. Sort of around this time of the year, so I missed out on that last part of the season, but I had a good bank of AFL games beforehand, and I didn't feel the pressure of that. And then it was
even the injury, you didn't feel the
it was just sort of like I didn't think much of it then. I was just like, there was no, I'll just let this heal up and I'll be right to go again, and I won't miss any pre-season and all this. So that part didn't creep in. It wasn't until my second year where I think my expectations on myself rose.
Okay,
and
it's a good thing, I guess, isn't it?
It is a good thing, but I didn't reach the expectations in myself, and that's where I started to probably lose a little bit of confidence, and I sort of became, in your first year, if you're playing and you're playing okay, which I was, you start to hear a bit of,
of course, chatter
about yourself, and this kid's looking all right, and he's going to be a long-term player for us. And then it wasn't until my second year where I sort of felt like that was, Duggan didn't improve.
I see, man.
He hasn't maybe come on as strong as we thought, and
so you can't even avoid that noise not having fucking.
Yeah, well, I had it at this stage. Did. So whether it was that or not, or you just tend to get a vibe. Man. So that's when I felt it probably. So that part. Yeah, it's funny because the only way out of it is you start to sort of believe yourself again. And you've got to prove to yourself that you can still play at the level, and you're improving, and you're putting in the work, and it's coming out on game day. So I probably didn't ride out of it at all really in 2016.
Gotcha.
I played more games than I did in my first year.
Yep.
But I was probably like the line wasn't going as steep as what it was. From the first season. So that's when I started to put a little bit probably more pressure on myself. It's like, hang on, did I just get lucky with that first year? And
gotcha.
The weight was off the shoulder. Yeah, so it was a bit of a mental game there for me. And then the biggest pressure you feel, mate, is probably the best way to answer. I probably should have just started with this.
No, I love it, man.
But when you're on the fringe of playing, whether you fringe of selection, so you might be in the AFL side and you're not playing that well, you think you're going to get dropped, or you're in the waffle and you're playing really well and you think it might be your week that you get the call up to come and play AFL.
Gotcha.
It's really hard to be on the fringe.
Yeah, I bet, man.
With you, so it's
getting let down, or you built highs are highs, lows are lows. Yeah. I see.
And you can sort of you can play with your own mind a little bit in that sense, because there's like this whole thing of there'll be times in the AFL where I know I'm not playing that well and I'm waiting for the call to say like, sorry mate, you're not playing this week.
Oh,
and then
that's exactly what I was sort of trying to ask you about.
I'd be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It wouldn't be till Thursday potentially that I get that call. So Monday till Thursday, I don't know what I'm. At the time, it's a big thing for you, for yourself, because
confidence, and
you're playing AFL or you're not, and that's all you want to be doing.
Yeah,
and it's not until you're older where you understand like that it wasn't about that back then.
Yeah,
you don't know that at the time, and
you're putting that pressure on yourself, thinking that selection crews there watching you, but they're not. I guess you just got to be true to yourself.
Yeah,
is that what advice you'd give to younger players now, man?
Well, I'd say now don't expect to be the end result of the end game in your second or third year. So there's going to be that time where it's like you'll have some great highs as well, but you might find a time where you're out of form and you just don't know why.
Yeah.
And so there's sort of like you're not the end game. You never are, but you're certainly not in your second or third year. There's some players that are just blow you out of the park. They're just taking the game by storm in their second, first, third year, whatever it is. Yep. But for a lot of us, it's like you sort of you do your time a little bit and you spend some time on the fringe where it's the up and down.
Yeah, of course. Get used to living on the edge.
You do, mate. Yeah. So I don't miss those days, but I'm glad I went through them too.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Some might say like, oh, mate, you didn't go through them for that long. Well, maybe I didn't, because I've been quite lucky to play most of the time. But it does feel like it at the time. Yeah. So
yeah, of course. Fuck.
Yeah,
gives you an appreciation, I guess, for 100%. Being on that field every time, I guess.
Yeah. So that pressure back then was certainly. Yeah, it's on yourself, really.
Yeah.
You put it on yourself. Yeah.
So you were saying before you've played a premiership.
Yep.
What does that feel like, dude, at the MCG, like walking on there? And is it a different raw? I know this is such a simple fucking question, and I apologise, but for someone like me, man, who just lays bricks every day, I really want to know what it feels like to go out there, because I know I get a rush when I see you walk out there. And I can imagine, like, oh, let's go to war, man.
Cool. It is a cool feeling. Like that grand final was just incredible, and obviously we had a lot of travelling fans and fans over there. So our roar was pretty loud, but Collingwood's was like next level, mate. Like it was huge. So like two of the biggest clubs in the land playing that day. One on their home deck. Awesome. It is cool. Yeah. So it's great to look back on like what we did that year, that day. Like you may never forget that, will you? Never forget it. You may never get another chance at it. You just never know.
Holy grail.
It was just incredible. So that we had 100. I was really glad that it ticked. When they show on the screen the attendance, and it ticked over the 100K. So we actually had 100.
I can't imagine what that noise is like. How do you describe that, man?
I don't think you can. It's just like it's the same
noise. Does it do something to you? Does it get you?
Yeah, it does. It does to a degree. Yeah, and it can put you off too, though. Like it's sort of like it's just that loud.
I bet the banner's extra fucking tissue papery, mate.
Yeah.
You're gonna dive through that bitch.
It's but when we've had like even at Optus or Subi before that, it doesn't matter how many people are there. If they're up and about something,
I love that,
you will hear it, and it's a cool feeling to be cheered for, or to be watching your mate get cheered, or
that's it.
It's cool.
Does it help you, man? Does it help you play better? Do you find you play better in front of more responsive crowds?
Yeah. It's an interesting one. We've struggled away from home.
Gotcha.
This year, the last couple of years, and you do to a degree. You notice your home crowd. Like we're over here with So we almost pack out a 60,000 seat stadium every week, and
that's a loyal crowd, isn't it, mate?
It is, and for the 50,000 that were there the weekend just gone, that maybe there was 4,000 Hawks. I don't know how many Hawk supporters there was, but it was going to be a majority for us, and that's huge. That is huge for us. It energises you for sure, and that's the battle. That's the challenge for us now, is to find a way to really energise on an away trip too, and the odds aren't in our favour in terms of a crowd perspective. So
I was going to ask you that too. Does that affect? Not that I'd expect you to admit it, to be honest with you, because I don't know if I would, but it's like when the crowd's feels like it's against you.
Yeah.
Is that noticeable as well, man?
Yeah, it can
I imagine.
be. Yeah, some crowds
like
really...
you catch a ball and you just hear fucking boo. I imagine the final might have been like that in a way.
Yeah, it was for sure. Yeah.
I think
Dom was lining up for that goal and he kicked it, and then somebody just flipped in the bird. Is that still frame of that?
Use that as fucking motivation, mate.
Yeah, it's funny, But I think that's I think you got to come to enjoy it. Like that's
part of
back
it.
to what we sort of spoke about at the start. Like it means so much to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's it, man.
The crowd
I like
come
that.
out and they get into you because they think it's helping their team. And it's like, how good's that to see that? So there's part of like,
It's a good way to look at it, mate.
So if you can look at it that way, and
Oh, you're going to kill my family. Okay, cool.
yeah.
Glad to see you here, pal.
that energises me. So it's funny. It is. It means something. I think there's been studies done on it, like
really?
home versus away, and how teams perform in those environments. So there's definitely something to it. But,
I'm with you.
Yeah, we're back in our crowd most days.
I've always thought to myself, and I'm so glad you come on, man. I really wanted to sort of get inside and know what that's like week in, week out, dude. It must be a nice feeling coming up to the game, thinking like, this is, is it nice to go out with your team? Like I've never played a team sport, dude. I just wonder what's that like going to war with your brothers almost,
Yeah, it's the best. I think it's the best part about what I do.
Yeah, that's it. Sure. The lads behind you, that feeling of camaraderie,
it's the day to day, but it's the 2 hours on a Saturday or a Sunday where you get to go out and you sort of you implement and try and execute what you've been working on for the 6 days prior to that, and I love it at the moment. We're a young group, we're a young team coming through, and we've definitely got some senior players still around, and I'll probably fall into that category now. But just seeing young blokes improve and progress, and sort of you reflect on your own journey, and that was me one day, and then my older teammates that have moved on now, that's how they felt around what we were doing. So it's a bit of a full circle, nice moment for you. But I just love the challenge of a team sport. Like you got to have everyone.
I can see you the pride in your eyes, dude. I love that.
Yeah, I am. I'm proud of who I play for and what we do, and and there's like a little bit of sort of hurt on we're not going so well at the moment. So there's that added challenge of that too.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
The excitement around that is that I can be part of it. So
that's it. And I think weather the storm type of thing,
Yeah, sort of held up through this time, and
that's it.
Now we just got to come out of it. So it's pretty awesome. Like it's the whole what we do as a job. I don't even know. I'm 10 years in now, and it's like it just doesn't. It still doesn't feel real at the time.
Dude.
So
fucking awesome. The next thing I wanted to ask is this is not even on the list, dude. Not even talking about camping here. Sorry, mate.
What I do.
Oh, good shit. That's comforting. Going from a player to a captain.
Yep.
Is that what does that present for you? Is that like a whole different? Like, do they? Well, I hope I'm not assuming shit here. It's like, do they sort of not concentrate so much on your playing and more worry about your leadership? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Does your role change?
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't. The one thing I've always told them, and I haven't been in the job long, so I'm definitely learning still, but you're still a player first and foremost. So that's what I've tried to remember. Like I've still got to perform well. I've still got to connect with the players, the coaches, as I did before I took on the role or anything.
And I guess you can't coach while you're fucking out there, playing.
Yeah.
So it's like just concentrate on the game while you're there.
You've got to be, you're not pulling levers in this. You sort of still being that player that you were in the years gone by.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to help on the field where I can.
But
that sort of hasn't changed from whether I was captain or not. So
nice.
But I felt I'm busier with that. That's part of my life that's become busier.
Gotcha.
There's a few more meetings,
commitments.
There's
man.
more decisions. There's more. The requests that we sort of talk about, whether it's media or something to do with the club. The club need one of the captains to do this. So there's definitely parts of that and
being busier now, like you said, you're not going as good. Like that's what you've said, but it's like I guess it's you got to show up, man. You still got to show up and face it all. Yeah. And
we speak about being as a playing group, we've got the club's huge, like the
membership and
and the staff behind us.
Brilliant, man.
There's so many people that work at West Coast to make it all happen.
Yeah. Does it feel good? Does it feel good to know that they're behind you, type of thing?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So that's the responsibility, I suppose, of us as the front line, and then if you want to for captaincy purposes, you sort of you push the senior players and the leaders, and they're right out in front. So you're sort of creating this. You're getting out in front of everyone, and that part is daunting to a degree.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've just been really
because it's
lucky
your
with-
fucking fault.
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
well,
Like that's what people are trying to look for.
and,
You know?
and you take that on though. Like you sort of
fucking oath, Liam. I bet.
you expect that to good or bad, you're going to get either way. So there's just that certain sense of responsibility that comes with it. But certainly you got to be a player first.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you lead from that. But I think the biggest bit of advice I've got as a captain is you got to play well still.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, of
everything
course.
you do in the week, you might be at this meeting or that meeting and taking a photo over here or whatever it is. Still make sure you're putting in the work to make sure that your on-field performance is healthy and doing the best thing for the team. So
I imagine that juggle must be quite tricky sometimes, dude. You know?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and you got to be selfish. I would say that every footballer is selfish to a degree because we have to put ourselves first sometimes.
Couldn't agree more.
Even with your family and your friends, and
I like that, man.
I think you become selfish in the chase for like improvement and becoming the best and all that sort of thing. So it's you live a selfish
juggle,
life,
dude.
but and there's
unapologetic. I think that's what it should be.
But we you get great support, and I'd speak for a lot of the boys. I think with their families, their wives, kids, partners, whatever it is, they get a lot of support to do what they love.
Oh man, nothing better. That's what helps you fucking prosper, I guess.
It does,
having a good
for
supportive family.
Absolutely.
Man, so this is the last footy one, and I'm sorry to drag it into footy, but it was more I wanted to talk to you about your mindset and shit like that. It's fucking inspiring, man. Your future beyond footy.
Yep.
Without giving too much away of your grand plans for fucking 90 podcasts, which I hope you come on again. But what have you thought? Do you even think about it at this time, man, or is it's in the back of your mind? Because you're a captain for, do you know what I mean? A footy and a captain.
Yeah, definitely think about it. Yeah, for sure. That's another part of our, I suppose, being so well resourced, and the AFL actually as a whole industry is big on transitioning players out of the game whether that's
brilliant.
3 years into a career, because it doesn't last very long for a lot of us.
I see.
The average career, I think, is between 3 and 4 years, or just over 4 years.
Is it really?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Well done, bud.
That's
Let's go.
That's the thing. It's hard to stay in. So whether you're 33 to 5 or you're in your third year, it's the transition piece from AFL footy to
back
life
to
after
life,
footy is something that's become really heightened around the education and making sure that players are set up ready to go and step outside of footy once they're done. I would say that I am not set up ready to go, but not through not taking on board what the AFL or the club are trying to offer. It's probably just me not knowing exactly yet. It's like I'm still at high school and I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, that's it.
Really love the agricultural indry. So
man.
I've been connected to Nutrient Ag who were formerly Landmark for a few years now, and that's the great part. Again, I speak about how lucky we are to be part of a big club like West Coast. Is the networking aspect is great. So there's West Coast network is huge, and a lot of people are really willing to put a hand out to help you, which is great as well. So I love the ag industry. That's been a bit of a passion for a while. Had to again take a little bit of a backseat on that. Just with I've been putting a lot of time and effort into footy, so that's all good. But yeah, I love the ag industry. I love what I'm doing now, four-wheel drive and camp, and don't know much about it, but I know that it's a passion and a hobby, and at the moment I've been able to make it a little bit of what I do outside of footy as well.
Hell yeah, man. Yep.
That excites me. That excites me too. And then I think I need to be moving a bit outdoorsy, and so that's where I'm starting to lean towards.
It's a good fucking industry for you.
Yeah. So this sort of stuff and the ag industry is probably a little bit more. There's probably more there for me in terms of a hard and fast job. So that's what I've sort of started to poke a few things towards, and I've jumped on a few. I've tried uni, didn't really work out that well.
Okay,
I've tried some other courses and stuff like that, but I haven't finished anything, which is it's a bit embarrassing, but it's also just haven't quite found the one that's worked yet. So and it's, a lot of it's been a little bit I'm in WA and I just can't make it in this certain place because of footy and the schedule that I've got here. So
especially when your heart's back over east, and that's I'm guessing that's where you might end up.
Yeah, in saying that, I think I'll
Nutrient all around Australia, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Check that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yep. No, I do love Vic. But I think in the long run, I won't say where I'll end up, but I think like WA is just,
nice, man.
You know,
okay.
it's home now too. So I've got the two homes, which is awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, so I don't know. I can't answer your question where I'm going. But
No, good shit, man. Yeah, just whether you thought about it. That's all.
Think about it, and it's getting better and better too. It's like we've got probably 3 to 4 people at our footy club that part of their role is to help us discover and then transition if it's time. Or we're well resourced. Yep.
Oh man, I love that. I love that they sort of help. That that it's. I guess it. Well, you can assume, I guess, from the outside that it's like, okay, once we're done with you, fuck off. Like, do you know what I mean? We've got a new player coming in, fuck you, but it's like, I love that, man, that they're looking after you, even after footy. That's brilliant. Absolutely. I love that, man.
Yep.
All right, man. Okay, how long do you reckon we've been going for? You got a good idea?
I don't, because it gets me every time.
No, okay, cool. No, this is fucking hour and 10 already.
Has it really?
Yeah, I'm going to shoot you some quick ones. Take as long as you want, man. Dude, I've forgotten that question. I forgot to ask it, but I wanted to ask it because you're on 173 games now.
Yep.
What does it feel like for a player to hit those milestones? Or is it really just another game, man? Do you know what I mean? Like 200 games, 150 games. Yeah. It's a massive achievement. What does it feel like being a player? Or are you just focused?
No, it is big. It's great. So for us, 150. So my most recent milestone was life membership at the footy club. So you can earn it in other ways as a staff member or a coach, or you don't have to just play 150 games. But as a player, that's how you earn it. And so that's a big one for us at the footy club, and that's really special. Like to be a life member of anything, but the footy club that you put so much into, and that they put so much into you. Yeah. That was really special. So milestone games are definitely celebrated. We try to make them. It's not the biggest thing ever, but we've had only one West Coast Eagle ever play 300 games. That was Shannon Hearn, who I was lucky to play
with. Big
thighs,
the old tree trunk thighs. Massive.
He's a man. So that's huge for the footy club, not just Shannon and his family, but that was massive for us as a footy club. So we definitely celebrate milestone games. They're big boys. You don't set out to play 50, 100, 200, whatever it is. But certainly nice when they come up and man. You get a pat on the back and a bit of reward for it.
I reckon it also says a lot about the actual person, like loyalty. That's a big fucking thing, dude. 300 games.
Yeah, at the one club.
You're coming up on 200 as well. It's like that's a lot of time, man. How many seasons is that then? What? 50.
So 10 years. So I'm at 170 and 10. The 2 blokes from my draft class have just played 200. They're the first blokes to get there.
Yeah,
so
gotcha.
That's sort of how.
Keep an eye on them.
Yeah, they're flying. They play 400, but so you can sort of. If you're, you got to be sort of a little bit lucky with injury, but I think a lot of it's down to how you prepare and
like conditioning and that.
Yeah, like
interesting, man, because I wanted to roll that in.
You look after
that,
yourself,
not me.
Yeah.
Good shit, brother. Thank you.
So those blokes, you take your hat off to them. You don't play that much footy without putting the time and effort into to getting your body right and your craft right. So that would be the first to say. You got to have a bit of luck along the way too. But they're that's impressive to be up there already. But it's big. You celebrate it. And
fuck, man, you're only a couple of behind them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm lucky to play a lot of footy for sure.
I
didn't see it being. If you had said to me at the start of my career or before I was drafted to be 170 games into an AFL career and lucky enough to win a premiership, and plenty of close mates, and I've done. I haven't won too many individual honours and stuff, but I've had a ball playing 170 games for the club. So
hell of a resume, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected to be where I am now though, for sure. Like it's hard to sort of dream that far.
Of course it is, yeah. And you got to, I guess you got to keep like a short. You can't let your ego go too fucking crazy. You got to keep a short sight on the game in front or the year in front at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you can't sort of target them.
I'm talking shit here like I actually know what it's like.
You got a good
I'm just booking the next bricklaying job. That's all I'm looking forward to, mate. Best foot forward, See, I'm media trained, whatever, leave, No. Man, getting off the, getting on those We'll end it off with the quick shot questions. Well, not quick. Take your time, dude. But this is the prick of a one, man. The dream rig.
Yeah.
A dream rig.
I'll yeah.
Money's go on.
I'll give you the shortest answer I can.
Yeah.
And this will change tomorrow.
Yeah.
If anyone
on the drive home,
anyone that listens to my to our podcast over the Four Drive podcast knows I must do their heads in. But I honestly, I really want to scratch the itch of a 70 series.
Yeah, nice, man.
Yeah. So
wait, you've been in the new one?
I've driven the new 76, the 2.8. Yeah, I
been
want
in
the
any
V8.
old ones? Yeah,
yes,
nice,
I
man.
have. Yeah,
you have.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
the fact you still want one, love it.
Yeah,
that's where you'll get your injury, dude. Fucking tin shed on wheels.
They have a nice left quad though. I reckon. But I don't know what it is about him, and I've only had the one 4-wheel drive since I've got into it, so there's that as well. Like anything would be, I love my car. Like it's doing everything I need it to do, and it's easy to get around in and whatever. But I just love the 70 series. I reckon that's just something I want a V8.
Yeah, man.
The 70 series are just bulletproof to a certain point, and I don't know which one. I wanted the Troopy originally, and now I've got a bit older, and I don't have kids yet, but I want something that I can hold on to for a long time, and are they practical for if we want to take that next step and all this sort of thing. So the wagon's great. I wouldn't mind towing.
Yeah, man. I'm with you.
The Ute as well, but that's starting to look a bit more and feel a bit more like a truck too. So I think the 76 for where I live and what I do and how often I go,
nip around.
I think would be the one. But a 70 series for me would probably still be the dream.
Yeah, man. They're a tried and tested engine, those VDJs.
Yeah.
They're man. I've tried this. I reckon about 10 times. Liam is trying to explain to people like the feeling. There's so many. I've done a video. I've filmed a video on this, right? And the whole thing was out of focus, dude. So I'm gonna have to reshoot it, right? Yeah. First time I've ever had to do it, man. But I remember doing the pros and cons of owning this Land Cruiser for nearly 10 years, right? And doing over 220,000 Ks on it, right? And it's like, you look at the end of the video and the flaws are actually like the cons are much more than the pros. Right. But there's only 2 pros that you need to choose that fucking car, dude. It's the reliability and it's the feeling that you get when you're driving that car. Yeah, I can't explain that, man. Yeah. And I've tried so many times, but I don't know. Yeah. They're fucking incredible.
Yep. I think one day I'll get there.
I think so. I think, if you're looking in the right direction, I think.
Yeah.
With a family though, one
that's
kid,
point.
No worries, I think. But I'm at 2 now, and I think 2 baby seats in there, you don't have much fucking room.
Yep.
But you'd probably tow a van or something, would you?
Well, that's what I was thinking, potentially. That's a plan. Like post whenever I'm done, if I can, I'd love to just jump straight in and go for a lap.
Yeah, nice. You're into that?
That's if I can sort of treat myself to that post-career.
Yeah, good on
may not be able to, but that would be the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the 70 series would be a great one to tow with around the country and
and man, if you get in a car like that, I know like fuel will be an expense, but I'm never ever worried about how much it costs me to fill that up. I'm never worried just for the fact that it gets me there. And it fucking gets me there reliably. Sore back sometimes, but I'm only joking. I'm surprised I don't have a fuck back from Brick Lane, but there's maybe it is that it's throwing a couple of vertebrae the other way,
lining you back
up. Beach or bush, man? I'm guessing now from your upbringing and stuff like that, but it's hard because you've moved over to WA and the coast is epic over here, mate. I'm biased there. Beach or bush, man? What would you rather?
Yeah, I reckon overall I'd say beach for me because a lot of the time when I go camping, it can only be for a night or 2. And
of course, I think nip out.
I think beach, is just so easy.
It is, and it's the most rewarding in a way.
Yeah, I think that you get a lot of bang for buck when you go to the beach for camp for a night.
Yep.
But I would think I'm more bush. I love,
man. Yeah,
because I don't know. I've spoken about this at length on our show, but I think overall the bush wins. But because I can only afford a night or 2 here and there. Certainly during the season or pre-season, the beach just is a winner.
Yeah,
Especially
it
in
is,
WA.
man. Yeah, 100%.
It's just a winner.
When that sou'wester's not blowing.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a night
Find yourself
like
a June quickly. But
that's it.
yeah, that's the beach is just, like I said at the start, so accessible.
Yeah,
And,
we're lucky, man.
And you know, that sun goes down over the horizon, the water, and
Yep.
you can't. We went down to like Binning Up sort of way.
Yeah, nice.
Over that Australia Day long weekend, and did 2 nights down there, and it was a crew of, so it was Lauren and I, my partner, and I, and a crew of Victorians, and a couple of them are the ones that are living here, and a couple haven't been here for too long, and one was on holiday, and I just got so like, I was like, this is what we're doing. Like the cars are parked up on the beach. We're watching the sun go down, having a couple of cans, and just enjoying life.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how good is this? Like,
man.
to show off WA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful feeling when you show someone like a new destination or a new track or a whole new area.
Yeah.
I get that whenever I take someone new on like have you ever done the Horrocks to Geraldton run, the coast run?
Not on the coast, no. Been up that way a number of times, but not on the coast. Yeah.
Oh man, God, if you get time to do that.
I've seen that.
2 or 3 nights.
That actually on your channel, and
I still can't do it justice, dude. I just can't.
Okay.
Like it's the best beach run I think there is, like within 3-4 hours of us. Truly.
Yeah, gotcha.
And anytime I take someone new on it, it's like that with Donnelly River as well. You're almost like watching that person like a fucking creep. Just like, how is it? Yeah, how is it?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
beautiful, man. But especially showing like Victorians who aren't used to driving on the beach.
Nah.
It's like, dude, check it out.
Yeah,
like,
we
just
can do
fucking
this.
hero about it.
Just drive on.
Let your tyres down.
Yeah, or don't have to go.
I'm up for a laugh. Nice, easy one to end it off, dude. I was going to throw a little bit of a curveball at you. I want to ask you first, but I've asked a few people this, but it hasn't really worked out that well because it's like looking back at a whole life, like a life of advice. But in case you do know, if not, don't tell me. But what's the best advice you've been given, Liam? Like, I imagine you've been given some beauties within the club or even from your old man.
Yep. Yeah.
Can you think of anything or just a beauty for us?
I reckon you might have actually mentioned it before, mate. Like being true to yourself. Nice. I think that just that for me has been at every time where you need to question something or what you're doing or what someone else is asking of you or wherever you are in your life, if you've been true to who you are with any of what and because I probably get caught up a little bit sometimes in being in places where I don't feel like what am I doing here? Like, how have I found myself in this room or whatever it is? It's sort of like just awesome. If I'm true to who I am, and that's sort of like the confidence in myself. But I think that's I reckon that was probably Mum's one to me. You just get a bit of confidence from that. And in fact, I don't know how to explain it, but being true to who I am is just a great steadier for me.
I fucking respect that.
To live how I do.
Yeah, that way people around you can, take you for who you are. Yeah. And if they don't like you, then whatever, man. We'll go our separate paths, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if I sort of as genuine as I can be and
that's it,
take me or leave me, that's how I come. And that's why I tried to be like that through all modes of my life. Like it's sort of
good on you, man.
How I am here and at the footy club and at home, and that I try to be pretty consistent in that because I just find it easier. It's too tiring to be
putting on a mask.
Yeah, exactly, mate. So being true to who I am is probably the one that sticks with me.
Beautiful,
comes
man.
Straight out. So
nailed it, mate. I stump a lot of guys there. Usually there's a lot of dead air that I have to cut out.
Mate, we actually get asked in that like in what we do sometimes. If we're chatting to kids or at a footy clinic or a leadership chat, it's sort of you do get asked a bit about what the best advice
so it sticks in there a bit
so you
on
sort
rotation.
Of not that I've practiced. I don't think I've answered with that one every time, but you got to think on the spot sometimes.
Oh, I know.
Like,
I bet.
Otherwise, you lose the kids.
But
being true to who you are, mate.
Yeah, magic, Liam. I love that, mate.
Yeah.
Nice, easy one in the end. What do you listen to, mate, when you're at camping? What music?
I love my oldies. I love me 70s, 80s.
Gotcha.
All that sort of stuff. Just like probably that surfy rock sort of stuff. That was sort of what Dad, we were listening to growing up. I love my country at the moment.
Yeah, man.
Love my country at the moment.
Everyone does, eh? Because it's mint.
Except Ronnie. He hates it, yeah. But it is, mate. I love it. I reckon it's gold.
Yeah, it is. It's sort of taken a bit of a pop turn, you know?
It has, yeah. It's become... Yeah.
Post Malone's a fucking country guy now, apparently.
He's doing okay at it.
He is, too,
I actually
He's
like
nailing it.
But I'm loving the country stuff, yeah. I'm not a big rap guy, not a big sort of techno...
techno's
banger sort of style, but you got to get used to it all in the West Coast gym, mate. So,
I wonder that.
So, yeah.
That's why you got
I've
headphones.
heard them all, but yeah. Yeah, but I'd say country's probably the one at the moment. It doesn't come off,
Gives you good advice. Some country music like fucking gives you good advice. You're like, whoa, shit, that talks to me. That speaks to me.
But then you find a lot of them just about beers, trucks, and women. Or
that's not horrible either, though, is it?
Yeah, it's all things that I like. So it's
one woman.
One
I like one woman.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's well put. Multiple beers.
Saved your ass there.
Very good.
Dude, I'll wrap it up there, man. I don't want to keep... I know how busy your bloody life is, man. But you've given me a good hour and a half here, Liam. And,
quick,
dude, thank you so damn much. Honestly, Liam, for giving me your time, man. I appreciate it. And I respect what you do. And it's fucking a breath of fresh air you coming into this industry, honestly, mate. And I don't know. I respect the shit out of you. Thanks for giving me your time, Liam.
I appreciate you having me. Cheers, babe.
Bloody legend. Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. As I said, Liam, I need to pre-record this shit, because you're going to have to sit through this with a blank face, mate. Nah. Guys, if you want 10% off your all Wacka... fuck. This is horrible, man. See what I mean? If you want 10% off all Shelter Brewing beer and merch, jump online, throw in the code word WACA10 to get 10% off. Also, shout out to Barbecue Mafia for being a new supporter of the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next episode. Again, Liam, thanks so much, man.
Thanks, mate.
Hope we can catch up again.
Look forward to it.
Thanks, brother. Bloody Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
That was awesome.
Fucking
Good fun.
legend, dude.
It's nice to have a chat,
It goes
mate.
so quick, man.